Kurinji Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Namakkal.
Successful result producing school in state every year.
Administered by the Board of Directors with over 35 years of experience in the teaching field.
Special attention on art, craft, music, dance, silambam, yoga, skating and karate.
Focus on Hindi Sabha and Spell Bee Olympiad exams.
Smart class for effective and innovative learning and well-furnished library.
Solitary importance on sports and games in state and national level.
WhatsApp facilities to know activities of students and school inside the campus.
Free bus for LKG to 8th standard.
Free, hygienic and nutritious food.
NEET, JEE, IIT coaching experts from Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh along with our effective teachers.
Admission registration for classes LKG to +2.
Kurinji Education Institution, Kavetipatti, Namakkal. Admission in progress. CBSE, KG to 12, contact 9025895176. Metric 6 to 12, contact 9344567484. For online admission, log on to www.kurinjischoolnkl.in.
In continuation to the last class, in this class we are going to concentrate to discuss diffraction. In this class we are going to concentrate to discuss diffraction. It is the very important phenomena. It is the very important phenomena. Here itself, if you concentrate, we already discussed that the very important phenomena of light, interference, diffraction, polarization. Before this, we also discussed reflection and refraction, right? Not only these 5, but in these 2 chapters, that is what ray optics and wave optics, which are the branches of optics, we focused to discuss reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction, polarization. Okay, right. Now, in this class, our concentration is diffraction. My request is here, first please try to understand what is meant by diffraction. Please try to understand what is meant by diffraction. If you understood the property, then slowly you can understand everything which is going to related to the property, either to derive the conditions or some other applications based on this. Okay, right. So in this class, first we are going to understand what is diffraction. Then we are going to discuss the condition for maxima and minima in case of diffraction. As we discussed in case of interference in our 2 or 3 classes before, as we discussed what is the condition for maxima, what is the condition for minima, that is what is the condition for bright band and dark band, constructive interference, destructive interference. So similar to that, in case of diffraction, what is the condition to get intensity of 0, intensity falls to 0, and to get the condition for maximum intensity, that and all we will discuss. So it is like a small experiment which is single slit, okay, which is single slit, right. See here, first try to understand the property of light, the very important property of light, diffraction. Okay, right. Listen what I am saying. For example, your friend is hiding somewhere just towards the side of the wall, in a room, right. So you are outside the room, so you have a torchlight, so which is like a source of light. Just you are going to switch on the torchlight and you are going to make it to work out, or you just switch on the light in the corridor, but your friend is inside the room, but the door is opened. So please understand what I am saying. Suppose in our school there are so many rooms. In one room your friend is sitting, okay, you are in the corridor, the room for the door for the room is open, but in the corridor you are going to switch on the light, In that room there is no light, but in the corridor only light is there. Right? Now the situation is your friend also get the light. Your friend will also get certain amount of light into the room. So what I want to say here is light bends. What I want to say is light bends. You may have your doubts because in case of refraction also light bends. In case of diffraction also I am saying light bends. What is the difference? Right? Very good. Both are correct. Yes, in case of refraction also light bends and diffraction also light bends. But the difference is when a light enters from one optical medium to another optical medium, at the point of separation of both the media, it bends. This phenomena is called as refraction. Whereas in case of diffraction, you just listen. When a light meets sharp edges, it bends. When a light meets sharp edges, it bends. Right? So this phenomena is called as diffraction of light. Diffraction of light. Okay? So sharp edges means no need to see the knife. For example, as I told you, your friend is sitting in one room, the door is open, in that room no light, but one tube light is glowing in the corridor, or other friend is switching on the light, maybe torch light, right? Not inside to the room, just in the corridor one light is glowing. But certain amount of light energy your student, that the student who is sitting in the room will get, because the light is bending around the corners. For example, at the door also wall is there, no? So wall is also giving some sort of corner. So the light ray is bending, right? So this is also the sharp edges. Sharp edges means not only the knife. Actually knife is giving sharp edge, okay, but this one is also, right? So this can also applicable to some other, for example sound waves. You can apply and you can cross check whether the sound is bending or not. But our discussion is here limited to light because we are in the chapter of optics, right? I hope now I cleared what is meant by diffraction. It is as simple as such. Light bends when it meets sharp edges. When it meets sharp edges. Okay, right. I will go through some other details just to understand diffraction as much as possible. See here, if you see the shadow cast by an opaque object close to the region of geometrical shadow. So in our 7th class or 6th class or 8th class, you may got about this. What about that? Opaque object forms a shadow, right? So if you see the shadow cast by an opaque object close to the region of the geometrical shadow, please try to understand. You are observing the shadow cast by an opaque object close to the region of geometrical shadow. You can see the alternate dark and bright regions. You can see alternate dark and bright regions just like interference. So this is the natural phenomena I am telling. When you are going to see the shadow cast by an opaque object close to the region of geometrical shadow, you can see the alternate dark and bright regions just like interference. But here the reason for this alternate dark and bright regions is diffraction. Okay. So I already told you diffraction is a general characteristic exhibited by all types of waves, sound waves, light waves, water waves, matter waves, etc. Because of or since the wavelength of light is much smaller than the dimensions of most obstacles. Since the wavelength of light is much smaller than the dimensions of most obstacles, most objects. That's why we could not experience diffraction in our daily life. But if you focus, if you change the size of the obstacle, so that is what when which is comparable to the wavelength of light, then you can experience. Okay. And one more point is the finite resolution of our eye or optical instruments such as telescopes or microscopes limited due to the phenomenon of diffraction, right? Due to the phenomenon of diffraction. Okay. And one more very important example is, if you see the compact disc, that is what CD, what we are using to store memory, to store information. If you see in different angles, you can see different colors. And you can see different effects also, right? So these effects, not only colors, I am talking about if you see the compact disc in different angles, you can see the different effects that you can experience personally, right? These are all because of diffraction. So you can also call them as diffraction effects. Okay, right. From starting of this class, I tried to explain what is the diffraction from our daily life point of view, and at the same time from definition point of view also. From daily life point of view, I told you what happens in case of shadow cast by opaque object, okay, and what happens in case of compact disc. From definition point of view, as simple as such, I told you light bends when it meets sharp edges. Okay, right. Now this definition I am going to extend to get more clarity. Just you see here. See this. The phenomenon of bending of light around the corners of small obstacles. The phenomenon of bending of light around the corners of small obstacles or apertures, and its consequent spreading into the regions of geometrical shadow, is called diffraction of light. I will repeat once again. In this definition, every word is important, every letter is important for us, because which gives the complete meaning of what is diffraction. In simple way, you can say that when a light bends when it meets the sharp edges, is simply called as diffraction. It's okay. But if we go into somewhat deep, see here, the phenomenon of bending of light around the corners of small obstacles or apertures, and its consequent spreading into the regions of geometrical shadow is called diffraction of light. Okay, right. Now we are going to see one experiment to observe the diffraction pattern on the screen. That experiment here it is the single slit. So Young's double slit experiment we discussed while discussing about interference. Okay, so there we took a single slit as a source of light, and then we took two slits, two pinholes for an opaque screen which allows only light from two holes. Okay, so that is replaced here with a single slit. Again, you can see here on this in this picture, you can see this is the single slit. Okay, right. So not only Young's experiment of double slit. Before that also Newton had noticed that light spreads out from narrow holes and slits. From narrow holes and slits, right? And it seems to turn around the corners and enter the regions where we would expect a shadow. Where we would expect a shadow. Generally that effect we are calling it as diffraction. Okay, that is right. Okay, now we are going to see the experiment, that is single slit experiment, to observe the diffraction pattern on the screen. To observe the diffraction pattern on the screen. Okay, see here. See here, when the double slit in Young's experiment is replaced by a single narrow slit illuminated by monochromatic source, a broad pattern with a central bright region is seen. With a central bright region is seen. On both the sides there are alternate dark and bright regions. The intensity becomes weaker when we move away from the center. So it is like a center means if you move like this or like this, you can see alternate dark and bright regions. The intensity becoming weaker and weaker as you move away from the center, like this and like this. Okay, right. Now if you see the picture, first you have to try to understand the picture. Here a parallel beam of light, it is what? A parallel beam of light falling normally on a single slit Ln. It is L, it is N. Single slit here a parallel beam of light falling normally on a single slit Ln, width small a. So this width is small a, right. Next, the diffracted light goes, see this is the diffracted light. So this diffracted light goes on to meet a screen. So here we have a screen. Here we have a screen. The middle point of the slit is M. So this is the middle point of the slit, that is capital M. Okay, right. Now a straight line through capital M, this is the straight line which is through capital M. A straight line through capital M perpendicular to the slit plane. This is the slit plane. This is perpendicular. Perpendicular to the slit plane meets the screen at C. So this is the point C. So this is the screen. So this line passing from M meets the screen at C. Now suppose if you want to find the intensity at point P, you know very well, as we discussed in interference experiment also, P is the arbitrary point that we don't want to take at one point. You can take here, you can take here, you can take here, anywhere, right? Okay, suppose if you want to find the intensity at any point P on the screen, right? Okay, as before, straight lines joining P to different points L, M, N. See here, these are the straight lines joining P from different points L, M, N can be treated as parallel. So you can see the picture, in picture also these lines are parallel, but making an angle theta with the normal, that is MC. So this is the normal, right? These parallel light rays are making angle theta. See here also theta, here also theta, here also theta, right? That is, you know, from geometrical mathematics point of view also, you know, because when these are parallel and these are parallel, if it is theta, and these two also will become theta. Okay, right. So now I explain you about the picture, what's happening. So the distance from M1 to M2, so this is y, so this is small y, right? So this is L, this is N, it is M, it is M1, it is M2. It is from source, from S means from source. This is the C, the point where the straight line from M meets the screen. This is the arbitrary point where we are going to observe the intensity diffraction pattern. Intensity, basically intensity, whether it is maximum or minimum, that like the discussion will come. It is an arbitrary point. Right. Now, the basic idea is to divide the slit into much smaller parts. So, this is the slit. So, the basic idea to observe the intensity pattern or intensity value, whether it is maximum or minimum, how it is changing from maximum to minimum, that and all to discuss. The basic idea is to divide the slit into much smaller parts and adding one to other, right, with proper phase differences, okay. And we are also treating different parts of the wavefront at the slit as secondary sources. We are also treating different parts of the wavefront at the slit as secondary sources here, as secondary sources, okay. Why? Because the incoming wavefront is parallel to the plane of the slit, and these sources are in phase to one and each other. So, in this paragraph here you can see, so just now what I explained through this paragraph, he is explaining how we are going to do the thing. So, the basic idea is to divide the slit into much smaller parts and add their contributions. So, by adding all those things at P with the proper phase differences, and there itself we are treating different parts of the wavefront at the slit as secondary sources. Why? Because the incoming wavefront is parallel to the plane of the slit and these sources are in phase. So, because of this incoming wavefront is parallel to the plane of the slit and the sources are in phase, we are treating different parts of the wavefront at the slit as secondary sources. In the second class of this chapter, I explained you what is the wavefront, what is the secondary wavefront, which acts like a secondary sources from Huygens principle. Okay, right. Now we are going for calculation. So first we are going to calculate the path difference. That is what we are taking these 2 points, NP and LP. You just imagine the point P here. So it is like NP, it is like LP. The path difference between NP and LP, that is what? Two edges. This is the edge of the slit, this is another edge of the slit. So suppose it is the first edge of the slit, means it is the second edge of the slit, right? So can be calculated by Young's experiment. That is what? So NP minus LP is equal to A sin theta. That you can also say that NQ. See here, it is NQ, right? So NP minus LP, you can take anything, so NP minus LP is equal to, this is the difference. So it is the path difference, that is A sin theta. This is A, I already told you this is A. Then it will be A sin theta, right? So you can see here NP minus LP is equal to NQ, that is equal to A sin theta. If theta is small, for smaller values of theta, for smaller angles, that is equal to A theta, okay, that is equal to A theta, which is equation number 1. Similarly, in a similar manner, you just imagine M2P minus M1P, it is M2, it is P, right, it is M1. So M2P minus M1P is approximately equal to Y theta, this is Y. This is Y theta, we can write, okay, right. So now if you take M1 and M2, it is the smaller one, it is the small, like this, here you can take 1 point, 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 like that you can take. So by taking smaller and smaller things, and you can add by using Fresnel integral calculus, okay, right. Otherwise, this is one method, by taking smaller parts of the slit and by adding. This is one part by taking with the help of Fresnel integral calculus. Otherwise, you can go in some other pattern, simple argument, which also gives the intensity on the screen at different positions, okay, right. So now we are going to discuss the simple argument which gives the expression or condition. See here. At the central point C on the screen, the angle theta is 0. Suppose if it is the light, at this point the angle theta is 0. So when the angle theta is 0, what about the path differences? Also 0. When all the path differences are 0, then what can we say? See here, all the points of the slit contribute in phase. Path difference is 0 means all the parts of the slit contributes in phase. When all the parts of the slit contribute in phase, this gives the maximum intensity at C. This gives the maximum intensity at C. So the intensity has a central maximum. The intensity has a central maximum at theta is equal to 0. At theta is equal to 0. It is for central maximum. For at secondary maxima, theta is approximately equal to n plus 1 by 2 into lambda a, and has minima. It is the maximum, it is the minima. Minima is theta is approximately equal to n lambda by a. So whereas in case of this or this, n is equal to plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, etc. Continuous. Okay, right. Next, consider the first angle. Consider the first angle theta, where the path difference a theta is lambda. A theta is lambda. Suppose just then theta is approximately equal to lambda by a. No, when a theta is equal to lambda, theta is approximately equal to lambda by a. Lambda by a. Okay, right. So afterwards, after completion of this, if you see here, now divide the slit into two equal halves. Two equal half. That is what? One is LM, another one is MN. One is LM, another one is MN. Okay, see here. So if you split that and if you do the calculation, then what will happen? For every point, right? For every point M1 in LM, so either here or here or here, anywhere. Similarly, for every point between Mn, like M2, what is happened? The phase difference will be 180 degrees. When the phase difference is 180 degrees, that is what? Out of phase, will cancel each other. So the effect due to this M1 will cancel by M2. Then finally, what is the result? Right? So what is the result? Theta is equal to lambda by a. Theta is equal to lambda by a. All these contributions from the two halves, that is one from LM, another from Mn, cancel each other. So finally we are getting 0 intensity for theta is equal to n lambda by a. Theta is equal to n lambda by a. Right? So that we can say angular size of the central maximum. Angular size of the central maximum increases. So here the relation between two quantities, one is as the angular size of the central maximum increases means, so when it is going to increase? When the slit width A decreases, right? So this is based on the condition, right? We need not remember. If you see that condition, you can say. Okay, right. So afterwards, the another condition, one is theta is equal to n lambda by a, and another one is theta is approximately or is equal to n plus 1 by 2 into lambda by a, right? Suppose by taking the condition, that is what? Theta is equal to n plus 1 by 2 into lambda by a, right? As I told initially, if you go on from central position to the sides, as we are going away from the central, it will become weaker and weaker with increasing n, according to the condition, with increasing n. Okay, right. Suppose for example, if we consider the angle theta is equal to 3 lambda by 2a, 3 lambda by 2a, which is the midway between two of the dark fringes, right? At the same time, divide the slit into 3 equal parts. If you take the first 2/3 of the slit, then the path difference between the two ends will be, like this. It is what? 2 by 3a into theta, that is equal to 2 by 3a into 3 lambda by 2a, that is equal to lambda. So what does it mean? The first 2/3 of the slit can therefore be divided into two halves which have a lambda by 2 path difference. So totally it is lambda, but the above is lambda by 2 and the below is lambda by 2. Right? So the contributions of these two halves cancel in the same manner as described just now, just before 5-10 minutes. Right? So only the remaining 1/3 of the slit contributes to the intensity at a point between the two minima. Right? So it is very clear this will be much weaker than the central maximum. Right? So one can similarly show that there are maxima at n plus 1 by 2 into lambda by a, where with n is equal to 2, 3, 4, etc. These again become weaker with increasing n, since only 1/5, 1/7, etc. Right? So like this, with these two conditions, theta is approximately equal to lambda by a or theta is equal to n lambda by a. Similarly, theta is equal to n plus 1 by 2 into lambda a. By taking different values of theta, you can show what we can show. As we are going to move away from the central maximum, the intensity will be decreased. Similarly, on the other side of the screen also. Right? Okay. So in this class, we focus to learn what is diffraction. So in our daily life, where we are experiencing, at the same time, conceptually, how can we define the word diffraction? Afterwards, we discussed a small experiment, that is what the single slit, regarding the diffraction. So it is the single slit, how we are experiencing the diffraction, what is the condition for maxima, what is the condition for minima, what is happening on the screen, so how the intensity variation took place. Right? So this and all we discussed. We will continue our next class with the same topic, diffraction. Thank you.